There's a lot of data on coronavirus on the internet at the moment, and a lot of discussion about how serious it is. So I decided to download some COVID-19 data and make my own assessment based on the data. This is the data that I downloaded from covidtracking.com. This is the daily cases in the US up to yesterday, the 13th of November 2020. The blue dots are the daily data. There's a little bit of noise in the data, so I made a 7-day average, which is the red line here. I also have in this data the daily deaths. Again, the blue dots are the daily data. There's some noise in the data. Seems like maybe there are a couple of days in the week where deaths aren't recorded, so there's a lot of noise in the data here. But again, the cyan line here, the pale blue line, is a 7-day average. And from the model that I made, the red dotted line here is my prediction of what will happen in the next few weeks, which is quite a dramatic increase in the number of deaths, going above 2,000 before the end of November. It also looks like that trend is not going to slow down, and it may even be close to 3,000 by the first week in December. The model is fairly simple. I take the 7-day average deaths and I divide by the 7-day average cases, but with a delay, with a lag in the data. If you look at the peaks in the data between the cases and the deaths, it seems like there's about a 2 to 3 week delay between cases and deaths, or a peak number of cases and a peak number of deaths. So I played around with the lag a little bit, and I eventually came up with a 19-day delay for the model. So you can see from this chart a few different delays that I tried with. The 19-day lag model is the pale blue cyan line. You can see early on, around April-May, the percentage deaths per case was quite high, but changing with time. But after about the middle of July, it becomes fairly constant. So you get around about 1.6% death rate that's been fairly constant since the middle of July. Early on the rate was much higher, probably due to the amount of testing and therapeutic knowledge at that time, but for the past 4 months the rate has held pretty constant. The cyan line on this chart shows a pretty constant rate for the last 4 months. So using a very simple model of a 19-day lag and a 1.6% rate, the model predicts more than 2,000 cases by the 28th of November. Yesterday there were 170,000 cases. So that means the model would predict 2,700 deaths in 19 days' time.